All right, how's it going, everyone? I'm back at it with another podcast. This is kind of different than the last one. This is just a quick review of Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I kind of just wanted to do like a random video, and this was kind of something I thought of because I don't have any movie reviews on this channel. And I gotta say, this movie is seriously good, and I think maybe this video might kind of inspire you to go see it if you haven't. So I'm someone who has not played Dungeons and Dragons, and I kind of didn't know anything about the franchise. I know a lot of people who play it, and I find like the imagination aspect of it kind of cool. I've just never gone around to it, and obviously you hear about some games that last for years. So I know it's like a game that has a big time investment. And if that's what you're into, I think it's really cool. There's probably not a lot of games like that. But anyways, with this movie, not knowing anything about the franchise, I kind of went in with just no expectations. I was just kind of like brought along like by a group of friends for a movie. And I was kind of expecting like a Marvel-y movie. I was kind of surprised that it almost felt like this movie came out of nowhere, especially in terms of like its budget and its cast. Like they really kind of went all out on it, and surprisingly it paid off. I think it's good enough that I would totally go see a sequel. I think most people who see it would be down for a sequel. Could be a new franchise, who knows? But I have seen it now 2 times in the theater. So I've seen it once with a group of friends, and then my mom wanted to go see a movie, just because she hasn't done that in a while. So I took her out, and this is the one she wanted to see, and she loved it too. And so I found that pretty interesting how this movie seems to be something that, you know, all age ranges will enjoy. You know, sometimes that's kind of rare, and this is a movie that fits that perfectly. I even think maybe little kids would find this movie like, you know, hilarious and epic. Out of the movies I've seen in a theater this year, I definitely think it's one of my favorites. I don't know if I mean, John Wick 4, that was great, but those movies are kind of exhausting. I think this movie is like a perfect theater movie in terms of like light viewing, not something like Lord of the Rings, like super epic, but just like a one-off movie. I think it's like a great example of just like structure, just kind of pulling everything off. It's one of those movies where you can't really find many faults with it. So I think one of the big strengths of this movie is the cast. They really casted the characters well. Chris Pine is a great leading man. Michelle Rodriguez, she's awesome. I'm glad to see her branching off from Fast and Furious. I almost feel like she's been stuck in that for a bit. And I really like her. I mean, she was like great in Lost. I've always thought she's a great actress, but in this movie, she's a badass. I think his name's Hugh Grant, the enemy or the main villain in this. Also, great in the film. And then the supporting cast, the one guy who plays the paladin, he's great. The cast has incredible chemistry. Like, they really nailed it. They're all really funny. Chris Pine is hilarious, and he has kind of like a heartwarming backstory. You're really like rooting for him. Surprisingly, the action scenes in this movie are fantastic. There's stuff like there's heist scenes, kind of getaway scenes. The getaway scenes, you're kind of on the edge of your seat because there's like they're getting attacked just relentlessly, and those are really well done. But also the action scenes. There's one in particular with the Paladin and like I think it's called the Underdark, and I was like, you'll know it if you've seen the movie, but it's like the Thayan versus like a bunch of bad guys. I won't say too much just to avoid spoilers. But the fight choreography was really good, super quick. It almost reminded me of the Star Wars prequel fighting. That was sick. I actually found myself watching that one particular fight scene kind of again afterwards. The visual effects, they really did a great job. Specifically with this one character that she's like a shapeshifter. I kind of forget the official term of what her character is called in like the universe of D&D. But her getaway scene is awesome. It's super creative. Must have taken a ton of planning with this one scene where she's just escaping this castle in various forms of animals, getting chased at by people, getting, you know, magic thrown at her and like arrows. It's really good stuff. I don't know, just it's better than you would have expected the movie to be. There's a lot of really clever stuff. There's this one heist scene with like a mirror that's like, or they put it like a portal on a mirror, or no, sorry, on a painting frame. And then they use that to kind of sneak it in, and that heist scene was really cool. There's a lot of great stuff. And going back to the cast, it's surprising, even with the villain, it's still like, it's not incredibly dark or anything. Like, it's a very light-hearted story. It's just like a wholesome movie. So yeah, like I said, it's like a really good theater movie. I mean, it'll just kind of tick off all the boxes in terms of kind of an enjoyable experience. Again, I do think it's a movie that most people will enjoy. I would be curious to see the perspective of someone who did not like the movie, like what they thought of it, what their reasons would be. I guess if you're like a massive D&D fan and like you're such a huge fan that for some reason this movie did not do it for you, I could see someone wanting a completely serious movie and not one that is kind of so comedic. It really is kind of, I do want to say marvelly in the sense that like it's really quippy. But usually I'm not a fan of that, and in this movie, you know what, like it fits in, it's fine. As for Dungeons and Dragons as a franchise, like I said, I've never played it, but seeing the movie, it makes me curious. Like, maybe I'll go watch some YouTube videos of people playing it. Maybe in the future I'd try a game myself, who knows. I would not have any idea what I'm doing, but yeah, after seeing the movie, I am more interested in the franchise and actually playing the game. The music I thought was really done. It's by, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Lorne Balfe. He's doing a lot of good movies lately. I first heard of his music in the Ghost in the Shell live action movie, and I thought that was probably one of the best parts of that film. So he's doing really good. I think he's I think he's turning into like a, I think we're gonna see him in a ton of movies going forward. I mean, I think he did Top Gun Maverick as well. So yeah, great music. I've actually been listening to the soundtrack, and some of it's really good. Surprisingly, there is a scene in the movie that literally got a jump scare out of me. That was surprising. So there was like a freaky scene in it. So yeah, just like well made film, well paced, funny, wholesome. Everyone's gonna love it. There's something in there for everyone without it feeling like it's kind of slapdash. It all fits together nicely. And yeah, it's just a really funny, wholesome movie. So, again, without being a huge fan, just as like an enjoyable movie, I would give it a 9 out of 10. And yeah, if you're wondering if you want to go see a movie at the theater and you kind of want something that everyone will like, I think this is a good bet. I mean, I think if you go see John Wick, I feel like only a certain kind of people are going to like that. Like, if you don't really care about action movies, you're just going to be bored. But, yeah, this is a movie that I think everyone will like. So, yeah, that's another episode of this podcast. Let me know if you enjoy these. And as always, have a great night.